Deal with your pride, deal with your anxiety, and that's how you resist the devil. The two sins that Peter brings out as being things that you are going to have to resist if you're going to resist the powers of the forces of darkness in your life. They seem so different, but they're very linked. The two things he says is, number one, clothe yourself with humility toward one another, because God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. And then secondly, he says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Pride and anxiety, both of them open you to more evil. There's a number of other places where pride is defined differently. That's the great thing about the Bible. The Bible gives you multiple perspectives on these themes. Here, pride is defined as any resistance to the grace of God. Pride is that which refuses the grace of God. Pride blocks the grace of God. God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. Grace doesn't flow to the proud. Pride is a block to it. Anxiety. You know, you don't think of anxiety as a sin, but it is. The Bible, a number of places says, have no anxiety. Anxiety is a fear, and it's really a form of cowardice. Revelation 21 says, he who conquers shall be my son, but as for the cowards, the faithless, the murderers, the fornicators, their lot shall be in the lake of fire and brimstone. You know, the fornicator, yeah. The lake of fire, yeah. Murderers, yeah. Oh, yeah. Faithless, absolutely. Cowards. What are cowards doing in there? You can't help being a coward, can you? Oh, yeah? I can't help it that I'm nervous. I can't help that I'm anxious. I can't help that I'm afraid. Oh, really? Look carefully. It says, cast your anxiety on him, for he careth for you. Anxiety is always a refusal to see how much God loves you, how much God cares for you. It says in Romans 8:32, he who gave us his only begotten son, how shall he not together with him freely give us all things? In other words, if you're worried and you're anxious, you're afraid of what's coming on, God looks at you and says, I tore my son to shreds for you, and now you're afraid I'm not going to give you anything else you need? I gave you the present, and you're afraid I'm not going to give you the ribbon? Worry is always a stab at the integrity of God's love. Always. It is not innocent. What do you do about anxiety then? What do you do about cowardice then? It tells you actually, and they're linked. First of all, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. If you're worried, you have to humble yourself. In other words, you must see that worry always stems from overconfidence in your own opinion. You think you know how things should be going. That's the reason why in this antidote to anxiety, it comes right in the same context as being told, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. If you can't say to God, God, I don't know what's coming, but I know you care for me. And though it doesn't look like things are going right, I know you know what's best. If you can't say that, you have never humbled yourself under his mighty hand, and you're going to stew in your own anxiety. It's going to tear you up. Any psychologist, any doctor will tell you what your anxiety will do. You're going against the very fabric of your heart, the very fabric of your physique. It's up to you. It's a discipline. Humble yourself. Then secondly, cast your anxiety because he cares for you. You know what that means? Literally the word cast means to throw once and for all. What this means is worry really is a kind of dizzy, disoriented distraction. You're going through the day and you're always thinking about the things you're worried about. This text suggests that you sit down, you put it in the center. Instead of just always worried about, always thinking about it's on the edge of everything else that's distracting you, you put it in the center. You think about God's wisdom as you humble yourself. You think about God's love, and you humble yourself as you realize how little you're really taking it seriously. You say, how dare I question that when he's done so much for me? And on the basis of that knowledge, you throw it. You cast it on him. You say, Lord, I'm thinking about your wisdom and I'm thinking about your love. I put it on you, and I'm going to do my very best to think about it when I sit down and talk to you. Cast doesn't mean you never bring it up again. It means center on it in prayer and throw it on him. And the rest of the time, don't always just be having it there as a kind of bass note all during your day. Because that really is a pride, a lack of humility, overconfidence about your own opinion, and a mistrust of his love. Don't do that. If you really do cast your anxiety, if you really do cast your sorrows on him, he takes them. You know, when you're really scared, when you're really anxious, when you're under a load of care, it's nailed to the cross, and therefore it is well with my soul. Do you use the resources of the Christian gospel on your anxiety? Do you use it on your pride? Do you realize how your pride and your worry are bound up together? Don't give the devil that kind of foothold. Resist, think, cast, tie. Be active. Don't sit back and say, I got all these problems. Oh, Lord, can't you just do something about them? He's told you what to do, and he will respond if you obey him.